For more on what will soon be the biggest toy market in the world, let's go to Richard Gottlieb in New York. Richard is the founder and CEO of Global Toy Experts. Welcome to the show.
Oh, great to be here.
Now, as we saw, Lego is seeing success with China's consumers. So who are some of the biggest domestic and foreign brands dominating the Chinese market?
Well, of course, Hasbro and Mattel are and have been there. And of course, there's sub-brands like Fisher-Price, Hot Wheels, Transformers. The Walt Disney Company has been there. And then, you've got other brands like Thomas the Tank Engine and, of course, the wonderful Peppa Pig.
Oh, but of course, can't forget Peppa. Now, what should brands really understand about China's toy market so that they can better connect with consumers?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure. What should brands really understand about China's toy market so that they can better connect with consumers?
Well, I think as far as Western companies are concerned, it's a bit challenging. It's a huge market, and it's changing as we watch it. So I think it's really important for Western companies to engage with those who are in China that really understand the Chinese consumer market, what people are looking for in terms of type of products. We know that Chinese parents really like a lot of educational toys, what price points are right, where do people like to shop. And I think that this is a big learning curve for a lot of Western companies, and it's a curve that keeps curving.
So as you mentioned, especially for modern parents, there is a lot more pressure to guide children towards that focus on STEM toys. How is that changing the sorts of strategies for toy companies?
Well, we've always had educational toys. I mean, Lego is an educational toy, and more importantly, it's a gateway toy. I always say scratch an architect and you find a Lego kid under there. So toys like Lego are gateways to the professions. So I understand parents' interest in educational products. But I think we have to be careful in the balance between, in a toy, between what's educational and what's fun. Is it fun enriched with education, or is it education enriched with fun? And it can make a big difference in the joy that the child takes in playing, because let's face it, play is about joy.
Certainly important to remember. Now, in this market, you have a growing middle class in China, and you also have the end of the one-child policy. So how much potential do you see in China's educational toy market?
Oh, I think very, very big. The American markets, the European markets are going to be flat, really, for the toy industry for the next few years. China, with its hunger for educational toys, with the end of the one-child policy, with the increase in living standards and wages, etc., it's going to be the place to be.
Now, let's also look at what toy makers are doing to really keep children engaged. A lot of them are now adding experiences like augmented reality to really keep children engaged after that initial purchase. How important is that continued engagement to stay competitive?
I think you don't have to depend on bells and whistles and technology to keep children engaged. You got to create a great toy. And a great toy is the one that offers the ability for the child to grow with the toy, so that it's scalable. I like to see toys that are what I call legacy toys, toys that can be passed down from sibling to sibling and generation to generation.
Now, obviously, you have a big mobile market in China. How do you see the role of video games in China's toy industry?
It's unfortunate that the video game industry is not part of the toy industry. And video game play does tend to cannibalize sales of toys, particularly in years when there's big console releases. I mean, this year, in 2018, Fortnite, and of course the Nintendo Switch, did take some sales away from the toy industry. But when it comes to play, I'm an agnostic, and I think play is play. It's just different tools of play.
And just very quickly, we are seeing lower fertility rates in China. Are there any challenges that you foresee in the growth of China's toy industry?
No, I think there's a very, very large learning curve. Growth curve. I think that it has been an underserviced market in many ways, particularly by Western countries. Western companies. So I'm really looking forward to a very strong growth curve in China for toys.
All right, Richard Gottlieb there, founder and CEO of Global Toy Experts. Thanks so much.